My comic has gotten over 2 million views over these past 2 years. So, how much money did it make on Webtoon Canvas? Hi, my name is Katie, I'm an illustrator and comic artist, and today I'm going to talk about my comic, Sugar and Swords, and how much money it's made over these past few years. So to start with, if you want to make money on Webtoon Canvas, you need to have at least 1,000 subscribers and 40,000 monthly views to qualify. After that, a button will appear where you can apply for the ad revenue. Webtoons will then pay you out when you reach the $100 threshold. This means that if you make $20 in 1 month, you won't be able to get that money until you have made at least 100. For Sugar and Swords, it took me 3 months to reach monetization. Now, I will say that this is very quick for comics on this site, and I just got really lucky. My other comic, Crystallized, hasn't reached monetization yet, and it's been out for like 5 or 6 months. So don't worry if you are trying to reach that ad revenue and haven't got it yet. These things just take time. I started gaining money from Sugar and Swords back in September of 2021, so we are going to look at 2.5 years and see how much money I got. Now, Webtoons doesn't have good analytics and will show you the current and past month of data. So for every month, I've been keeping a spreadsheet of my growth and how much money I've been making. It's not perfect because there are some months where I forgot to record, but it's enough to look at. So for my very first month, I made a total of $8.70. It's not much, but I believe the global monthly views at the time were around 40,000 to 50,000. Now, when I say global monthly view, I just mean the number of times my comic was viewed in that month. Now, I didn't get my first payout until I accumulated $100, which was in January of 2022. So it took 5 months before I could actually get the money. During those 5 months, my monthly views were around 50,000 and I posted comics every week. After that, it took 6 months to get the next payout of $100. So on average, from February 2022 to July 2022, I got around $16.66 worth of money each month, with an average of 32,600 views per month. I remember my views during this time period varied a lot. In some months, I got over 50,000 views, while others I got around 20,000. Now, the only money I've talked about so far is the regular ad revenue Webtoon has. During this time, Webtoons also had a creator rewards program. This was a bonus reward program which lasted from 2018 to 2023. Basically, depending on the amount of views you get per month, Webtoon would pay you an additional reward. So, for every 40,000 views you got a month, you also got an additional $100. For 200,000 views, you got an additional $300. For 600,000 views, you got $800. And for 1,500,000 views, you get $1,000. Now, to get this money, you already had to have been approved for the regular ad rewards program. During the February 2022 to July 2022 section, I had 1 month where I got over 40,000 views. So I reached the additional $100 threshold. So the total so far is $300. $200 from the ad revenue and $100 from the bonus program. At this point, I'm pretty sure my comic got featured somewhere because I really started to grow. It only took 2 months to reach the next $100 payout. In August 2022, I got over 200,000 views that month, so I was also able to get an additional $300 from the Creator Rewards program. So in my first year of making money with my comics, from September 2021 to September 2022, I made $700. Now, that's not enough to live off of, but hey, it's a good start. In October of 2022, I reached the next $100 payout, and 2 months later, in December of 2022, I got another $100 payout in ad revenue. And then during that time, I also got another $100 from the Creator Rewards program. So right now, the total is $1,000. Now, during this time, I was making regular comic updates for Sugar and Swords, drawing 4 to 5 episodes per month. Starting January of 2023, I stopped weekly episodes and only posted 1 to 2 times a month. As you can guess, this did affect the amount of money I made. And on top of that, Webtoons ended their Creator Rewards program, so no more bonus rewards. So it took me 8 months before I could reach the next payout threshold, averaging around $12 a month from January 2023 to August 2023. 5 out of the 8 months, I got over 40,000 views. my average now hovering around 50,000 global monthly views. If Webtoon kept their creator rewards program, I would have made an additional $500, but since they ended it, there's not much I can do. At least during this time, in March of 2023, I reached 1 million views, which honestly is still crazy to think about. I think Sugar and Swords was able to get so many views because I had around 80 episodes out so far, and all of them were pretty easy to read, especially since each episode is like a short 4 or 5 panel joke on like video game mechanics or NPC stuff. Now that I think about it, it's pretty similar to how short form content is for TikTok and YouTube Reels. Basically a bunch of short videos or comics that's pretty easy to read one after the other. Anyway, from this point on, I make about 0 to 1 episodes a month because my focus has now shifted to my other comic, Crystallized. However, despite the low amount of episodes, I must have gotten featured again somewhere, because in September of 2023, I got over 100,000 views, despite no new episodes that month. And then, of course, I managed to reach the $100 payout, now totaling around $1,200. And then this happened again in October of 2023, where I made one new update and then got over 389,000 views. This is the most views I've ever gotten in a month. And this, of course, helped me reach the next payout, which brings us to a total of $1,300. From this point on, I kept getting pretty regular payouts. I got $100 in November of 2023, $100 in December of 2023, and then reached the next payout in February of 2024, and now averaging 100 to 200,000 views a month. In December of 2023, I was able to reach 2 million views, which again seems really crazy to think about. So now we've reached the current date, which means the total amount of money my 2 million viewed comic made in the past 2.5 years is $1,600. On average, that's about $640 a year, or $53 a month. Looking at the amount of money I made each month compared to the amount of views I made each month, I believe, if I did the math right, I get on average $0.00025 to $0.0005 per view. This is about 50 cents per 1,000 views, or just $1 every couple of thousand views I get. With all that in mind, here are my final thoughts. Honestly, it's nice making money with my comics, and it helps me pay the bills and get paid, but it's nowhere near enough to live off of. With over 90 episodes made currently, each taking around 4 hours at best to make, that's not even close to minimum wage in the US. But at the end of the day, I didn't start this comic to make a full-time income. I started Sugar and Swords because I wanted to see a comic about the daily life of an NPC. I wanted to step into the world of comic making and learn how to tell my own stories. And I just wanted to connect with people and make fun little jokes about video games and get better at art along the way. Regardless of how much money I made, I'm still very happy that I created this comic, and will continue to make comics because it's fun. Now, yes, of course I want to make a living off my work and create comics and art full-time. That's the goal. But I know that ad revenue alone on one platform specifically won't be enough. My goal in making this isn't to discourage new comic artists, but rather show you guys the reality of posting a comic on Webtoon Canvas specifically, and the amount of money you can expect if it does good. Luckily, there are other ways you can make money with your comic on top of ad revenue. The first is Patreon, which lets people pay you monthly to get exclusive content. I have 25 exclusive Sugar and Swords episodes out there on Patreon, and I get around $20 to $30 a month. The next way to make money with your comic is to create and sell physical books of your work. This is something I made last year, and I'll have a dedicated video of its own to talk about later. But know that I also get a little money from each book sale I get. If you are able to grow a lot on Webtoons, you can also activate reward ads once you get over the 200,000 monthly view mark. This allows you to lock episodes behind an ad for a few weeks, meaning if you want a reader to see the new episode, they can just watch a short ad, which helps increase your monthly payout. It's pretty hard to reach this on Webtoons, and I just started using this feature, so I don't know how much money it makes just yet. You can also make an online store selling stickers or merch of your comic. Plus, if you make YouTube videos, like this one talking about your comic, then you can get that channel monetized and get more money that way. Personally, I haven't reached monetization just yet, but I figured I should mention it for those who want to know. My point is, if you want to make money with your comics through self-publishing, it would help to create multiple streams of income, so you're not relying solely on one. No matter how much money my comics make, I'm still very proud of myself for sticking to it for this long, and being able to connect with so many people. I currently don't have a large following on Instagram or YouTube, but despite that, I was able to reach hundreds of thousands of people through comics, and hopefully brighten up their day with these silly jokes about video games and background characters. Well, that's everything I wanted to say on this matter for now. I still have more data about Children's Swords, which I want to talk about later in its own video. But if you are also a comic artist posting on Webtoon Canvas and are curious how I was able to grow so quickly, I made a YouTube video talking about how I reached 10K subscribers. Honestly, I think getting past the first 1,000 subscriber mark is the hardest, but still manageable if you have a plan. I'll be creating more videos about comics in the future, so I hope you all stay tuned and have a great day. Bye!